I am Sue Gonzalez, a counselor dedicated to guiding sensitive, bright, and deep-hearted individuals toward healing and fuller connection. In this story, I will share a journey that explores the painful yet ultimately transformative dynamics found in relationships where deep feelings meet emotional distance. I invite you to join me in understanding how unresolved wounds, often carried from our past, can create patterns that leave us feeling unseen, unappreciated, and ultimately hurt. At the heart of today's exploration is a story that mirrors common experiences, moments when we open our hearts expecting warmth and connection, only to find criticism, silence, or coldness in return. This pattern is familiar to many who continuously give their affection, space, and understanding, hoping that someone will finally validate their deep sensitivity. Carlos encountered this painful reality when he met Magali, whose responses were marked by withdrawal and detachment. As you listen to this narrative, you may recognize the hidden fears and ingrained beliefs that compel us to overgive, sometimes at the expense of our own safety. This journey is not just about understanding the dynamics of a troubled relationship. It is also about uncovering the roots of our emotional attachments and learning how to honor our true selves. In sharing these reflections and insights, my hope is that you will feel less alone and more empowered to heal and transform your own relational patterns. The story we are about to explore is a mirror, a reminder that the emotional challenges we face often illuminate the areas within ourselves that still need care, respect, and understanding. Let us begin this exploration, gently unpacking the layers of emotional history that shape our current attachments and learning to embrace a new way of relating that nourishes our soul. This journey serves as a gentle invitation to transformation, indeed. I now present the detailed account of Carlos and Magali's early interactions, a story that unfolds with both hope and underlying struggle. Carlos, full of optimism and vulnerability, approached his connection with Magali as an opportunity to finally feel emotionally safe and validated. In his eyes, opening his heart meant offering his complete presence, affection, care, and generosity, all in the belief that true connection would be reciprocated. Instead, he encountered a perplexing scenario where Magali's response was marked by a cool detachment. As their relationship developed, Carlos gradually noticed that his efforts to share warmth were met with criticism, withdrawal, and subtle corrections that undermined his sense of self. While he continually adjusted his behavior in hopes of being understood, Magali maintained her distance, often responding with quiet indifference. This dynamic became painfully clear when Carlos began to feel a profound sense of guilt for having expressed so much emotion. In his internal narrative, questions piled up. Was he too intense? Did his sensitivity serve as a flaw rather than a strength? The more Carlos gave, the more he felt invisible and undervalued, as if his deep capacity for love attracted only rejection. As I observe and recount these events, I see a mirror of the silent battles many face. The interplay between emotional giving and receiving is not just about one person's actions, but reflects deeper patterns of attachment and unresolved wounds. Carlos's experience with Magali is a vivid illustration of how our inner world can compel us to give tirelessly, even when those we care about remain emotionally distant. This reflection invites us to examine our own relationships, pondering whether our efforts for connection are met with true reciprocity or merely an exchange that leaves us feeling depleted. This reflective journey reminds us to honor our inner voice and to seek relationships that nourish our hearts with honest connection and mutual respect, truly and deeply together. Understanding the mirror bond in wounded attachment is at the core of this exploration. Every relationship carries traces of our inner world, where unhealed childhood experiences and past betrayals shape our expectations and behaviors. In the case of Carlos and Magali, each carried a hidden wound of not feeling seen and cherished, and these deep-seated insecurities created a mirror-like connection that ended up reflecting their mutual pain. In my work, I often observe that intense emotion is mistaken for true connection. Carlos displayed what some might call emotional extroversion, an outward expression of passion and relentless giving, while Magali's response revealed emotional introversion, a tendency to withdraw to safeguard herself from vulnerability. This dynamic, where one partner's generous heart meets another's guarded silence, illuminates the difference between intensity and true reciprocal connection. While Carlos believed that his overwhelming expression of affection would lead to the deep emotional bond he craved, Magali's avoidant stance only deepened the gap between them. Their interaction became a vivid illustration of what therapists often refer to as emotional codependency and emotionally verticalized relationships. It is in these moments that we see the stark reality. Much of what feels like passionate connection can be a reactivation of old wounds rather than a genuine meeting of hearts. This recognition is essential, for it shifts the focus from blaming either party to understanding that both are operating from a place of inner pain. The mirror bond is not a curse, but an opportunity. It calls us to learn from our reflections, to heal our own hidden wounds, so that we may eventually experience the kind of connection that nourishes rather than depletes our spirit. These insights invite us to treat ourselves with kindness and to see every relationship as a chance to rebuild our inner strength. The mirror bond encourages healing by revealing our hidden wounds and teaching us to embrace vulnerability. As I share this wisdom, may you feel empowered to transform your connections into sources of true nourishment. Let each experience guide you gently toward renewed emotional freedom and joy. Breaking down the destructive dynamics between Carlos and Magali reveals a landscape of hidden emotional patterns. In this narrative, we see an imbalance where one partner gives unconditionally, while the other withholds genuine connection. Carlos's overgiving manifests as a deep need to be seen and loved, and in his generous actions, he hopes to fill a void left by past wounds. At the same time, Magali's response is marked by subtle emotional control. Her corrections, cold judgments, and vacant silences serve as barriers that prevent any true meeting of hearts. This subtle dance of giving and withdrawing not only creates pain, but also reinforces long-held beliefs of inadequacy. Each act of withdrawal from Magali becomes a silent punishment, deepening Carlos's sense of being unworthy, and every attempt by him to bridge the gap only escalates his feelings of guilt and self-doubt. It is as if the energy exchange between them becomes a reflection of unresolved inner conflicts, a reactivation of childhood narratives where love was conditional and trust was hard-earned. In our exploration, we recognize that these destructive patterns carry clear names: emotional codependency for the tendency to overgive, internalized emotional invalidation for the guilt that shadows sensitive souls, and relational dysregulation for the erratic give and take inherent in their bond. By naming these patterns, we reclaim clarity and begin to understand that the dynamic is not a personal failing, but a manifestation of deeper wounds. The complexity of their interaction lies in its recurrence and its power to shape self-perception. Understanding these dynamics paves the way for healing, because once we can see the patterns clearly, we can learn to set healthy boundaries and reject the narrative that our deep capacity to care is a flaw. This analysis serves as an invitation to any heart that has ever felt too much or not enough, a call to recognize destructive cycles and work toward a future where love is balanced, respectful, and nurturing. In this deep analysis, every detail of their interaction offers lessons about human vulnerability and the courage needed to break free from repeating harmful patterns. Recognizing these dynamics enables us to question old beliefs and to foster relationships where care is exchanged equally. This understanding is a step toward reclaiming our true worth and embracing healthier ways of loving. May this breakdown of destructive dynamics inspire every individual to seek balance, self-acceptance, and genuine emotional well-being. Trauma, attachment styles, and the nervous system provide a profound window into understanding why relationships unfold the way they do. Reflecting on Carlos and Magali's experiences reveals that early emotional wounds often set the stage for adult patterns. Carlos's drive for closeness and frequent display of anxious attachment reflects a nervous system conditioned to seek security in connection, while Magali's tendency to withdraw hints at an avoidant mechanism designed to protect her from emotional overwhelm. This internal dance between seeking and retreating is the body's way of coping with past hurts. Childhood experiences, whether filled with neglect, conditional love, or unspoken disappointments, lay a foundation where the belief, if I give enough, I will be loved, takes root. Such a belief fuels the unrelenting need to prove oneself, even when genuine emotional support is lacking. In this narrative, the interplay of trauma and attachment is evident. Carlos's yearning for validation clashes with Magali's instinct to self-preserve, creating a cycle where both partners find themselves trapped by their internalized messages. This dynamic is not unique to them. It speaks to a universal truth about how unresolved pain influences our relationships. As I unfold these observations, it becomes clear that our nervous systems play a pivotal role in translating past experiences into present behaviors. The anxious side reaches out, desperate for the security it once missed, whereas the avoidant side retreats, fearing vulnerability could lead to loss of control. Understanding these patterns, therefore, invites us to approach our relationships with empathy and self-compassion. It is a reminder that healing begins when we acknowledge the roots of our behavior and work to reprogram our internal scripts. Recognizing the signals sent by our nervous system can empower us to seek healthier connections, where the need for closeness and the instinct for self-protection find a better balance in everyday life. By reflecting on these patterns, we learn that healing is a gradual process. Embracing our vulnerabilities allows us to rewrite our inner dialogues and create balance between reaching out and protecting ourselves, leading to more authentic, fulfilling connections. Step by step, transformation unfolds naturally. Tools for healing and reprogramming attachment offer practical ways to transform the pain observed in relationships into pathways of growth and self-compassion. Recognizing our deep-seated patterns is the first step toward choosing healthier connections. I encourage you to keep an emotional journal, where each entry becomes a reflection on recurring dynamics and unhelpful beliefs. Through regular expression of thoughts and feelings, one can begin to identify the recurring patterns that lead to overgiving and self-doubt. Fundamental to this process is the practice of reviewing core beliefs, such as the notion that I must give to be loved. By naming these inner narratives, we open the door to challenging them with new, more supportive ideas. In our journey of healing, setting clear boundaries is not just an act of self-preservation, it is a declaration of self-worth. Learning to say no and to honor our own needs transforms relationships from a source of pain into an opportunity for mutual respect. I advocate for creating a secure emotional map, a blueprint that guides us in choosing relationships that align with our true values and needs. Through mindful reflection and practical exercises, we can rewire our attachment responses from anxious or avoidant patterns to something more secure and balanced. Every step taken toward acknowledging and understanding our relational history is a heavy step away from self-sabotage. These tools are not magic fixes, but stepping stones to a more compassionate engagement with ourselves and others. As you incorporate these practices into your daily life, may you discover a renewed sense of strength and clarity. This comprehensive approach not only mitigates the risks of falling into old, destructive patterns, but also builds a foundation for lasting, authentic connection in every relationship you pursue. Implementing these strategies requires patience and dedication. Over time, by consistently reflecting on our experiences and adjusting our internal dialogue, we slowly shift from an old reactive pattern to a harmonious way of relating. Every mindful step forward contributes to rebuilding a relationship with ourselves that lays the groundwork for more balanced connections with others. Keep moving forward with persistent hope. Conclusion, call to action, and empowering final message. In reflecting upon the intertwined story of Carlos and Magali, a deeper understanding emerges about the nature of love and the importance of self-worth. Their journey, marked by passion, vulnerability, and unhealed wounds, teaches us that the path to genuine connection is paved with both courage and self-compassion. The emotional trials they experienced are not signs of inherent weakness, but rather indicators of internal struggles that call for healing. Recognizing that our sensitivity is a strength rather than a flaw is essential in building a loving, steady bond, free from the distortions of past trauma. As I summarize these insights, I remind you that every moment of emotional pain carries with it the potential for growth and transformation. It is not uncommon to mistake intensity for intimacy, but real love flourishes when intensity is met with consistency, care, and respect. I encourage you to view your relationships as opportunities for learning, a space where every hurt, every silent withdrawal, and every burst of vulnerability can guide you toward a deeper self-awareness and a more balanced way of loving. As you continue your journey, take these reflections to heart. You are not broken, you are not alone, and you do not have to compromise your authentic self in order to be loved. Each step you take toward understanding your attachments and healing your inner wounds is a victory in itself. Embrace tools like setting boundaries, journaling your feelings, and critically examining the patterns that no longer serve you. Let this be a call to action to select relationships that honor your true essence. In the end, genuine connection is about mutual respect, a calm, steady presence that reflects the beauty of your soul back to you. May this message empower you to choose love that nourishes and uplifts, ultimately leading you on a path to a more secure and fulfilling life. Let these words resonate in your heart as a beacon of hope. Cherish every insight as a gentle reminder that your journey, with all its ups and downs, is unique and deserving of love. Embrace each moment with gratitude and allow the lessons of the past to guide you toward a brighter, more balanced future. Always remember, every step forward is a testament to your strength, and every breath is an opportunity to redefine your story with love. Keep moving forward with persistent hope,